The Sony a7 III is awesome in low light, but can you do it on a budget? I hope so, because I'm a musician, which means I'm poor. Today, me and Charlotte are going over to York, and then I've got to get back early because I've got to get over to Leeds, which I'm playing at a festival, a winter festival called Hinterland. And then I'm going to do some filming there and see if I can get some good low light footage on the camera that I've got, which is the a7 III. Now, if you aren't bothered about my life and you just want to see the camera tips, you need to be heading over to This Time and you'll find them there. And, you know, I won't hold it against you. Have we got time for a pint? No, we don't. So we're on the way to York now to meet our potential wedding photographer. How exciting is this? She's so excited, you probably can't tell. She's shaking, bless her. So one of the best things about living in Doncaster is the scenery. I mean, the mountains, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at this. Oh. Can't wait to hike that one. So December's the busiest period for me. December's the busiest time for me, so I've got a gig tonight, got a gig tomorrow night, got a gig the day after, and then one after that. It's non-stop, but at least it keeps me busy. January, we're just getting our smiles ready so that we're ready for the photographer so she knows what to work with. Professionals. At this moment of time, that's the only camera bag I have. I mean, it's luminous blue. Goes with nothing apart from blue t-shirts, blue trousers, blue coats. I'm a girlfriend and she is so blue. Yep, this looks nice. So we've chosen a photographer, finally. Finally. Yes, he's picky. Because I'm really picky and I'm judgmental and I'm just an awful person in general, really.
Also, the wedding photographer is really cool and we like her a lot, so...
Yeah, we like her. We're heading back to the station now. We're going to go and rescue the dog because he's been on his own for 5 days now. He hasn't really, that was a lie. We got you. But we did find a really cool eco-friendly shop on the way. And I am going to do a video on how to be a bit more eco-friendly because she's converted me. She's the eco-queen. I'll put some clips in of that because it was really nice. And I'll link it below if you want to go and see it. It's called the Bishy Way? No, I
think it was called the York Eco Pantry.
Okay. Because everyone needs to do a bit more.
The bus just fired.
Later tonight I am playing at Hinterland in Leeds, which is a kind of Christmas festival It should be cool. So I'm going to test the low light capabilities of this camera, which is the a7iii Sony. See ya. Turns out festivals can be quite loud, and I did do this whole vlog, all the tutorial, everything like that at the venue, but you just couldn't hear me at all. So I'm back here. I'm just going to describe all the clips while showing you them. Just like that annoying friend from work that goes on a family holiday to Portugal and then spends 3 hours showing you the 3 million photos she took of the same thing.
No one wants to see your balcony from 9 different angles, Karen.
Now obviously the a7iii is quite an expensive camera, so most of my budget went on just buying that. So with everything else that I needed to buy, I had to have a very strict budget and I had to know exactly what I needed for what I actually wanted to use. So this video is pretty much showing what I've got and how I use it to get the sort of footage that I do. So we'll start off with the lens that's on the camera at the moment, which is my vlogging lens. It is the Samyang 24mm 2.8, and it's really small. You can see here, it's like a pancake. So it's great if you don't have a lot of space in your bag or anything, you just want a lens that you could just take out with you. Having said that, in low light, it's not the best. It does struggle in the dark, but to be honest, I rarely use this lens in the dark. It's usually for just carrying around with me vlogging. So this lens cost me about £250, and I know it's not the best lens out there. It's not really wide enough even to do the sort of vlogging that I want to do, but at that price point, you can't really go wrong. If you want anything much better, you're going to have to be spending at least twice as much. But for the budget, it's great. It does what it's needed to do. Now the other lens that I've got, I only have 2 lenses at the moment. The other lens is the Sony 50mm 1.8, which is awesome. It's a prime lens again. It only costs £150, which compared to a lot of other lenses out there, which are thousands, it's a steal. It's the lens that I would definitely recommend before any other lens. With it being 1.8, it's really fast as well for the price point, and you just get that detail and crispness in your shots. I wouldn't really be able to vlog with it because it's not wide enough, but when it comes to B-roll or shooting weddings or events, it is great. Now, as these are prime lenses, a lot of the time it can be a bit restricting because you can't zoom in or anything like that on normal cameras, but with the a7iii, you've got the crop sensor mode, which I always keep on the C3 button at the top. It's just there whenever you need the crop sensor and a little bit more zoom, and there's no reduction in the quality. It's a lot less restricting. With the 50mm, you can get up to 75mm. So for portraits, it's great because you can really zoom in on the faces of people. Or if you're videoing a band on stage and you want to get up close and personal, you've just got that extra reach. With the 24mm Samyang, I don't usually use it because I need the 24 for vlogging, that's all I use. So if it became a narrower field of view, then it would be pretty pointless. It saves you money in the long run because you've got the cheapness of the prime lens, but you can also get just a bit more out of it. Now next on the list is audio. You actually hear the audio before you see the footage, so it's so important to get good audio. And I know what you're thinking, oh, you're a musician, you would say that. However, I'm pretty sure there's been studies on it, and I know a lot of people use the Rode VideoMic Pros, which are quite expensive. So I did some research and I ended up getting this, which is the Takstar SGC 598 recording microphone, and it's, you know, it's a catchy name, a really catchy name. I go out and I just think, yeah, I'll remember that. Awesome. But this thing costs like £22. £22. It just takes one AA battery, which I always use just reusable batteries, and just carry a few around with you. But they last for ages. I think I've only changed this one probably once or twice in about 2 months. It's really good. Really good. Good! I like it. Now, another of my favourite features of the a7 III is the 120 frames per second slow-mo. I use it all the time for B-roll, for doing weddings. It just makes everything look so much more cinematic. However, in the low light, it can cause issues. And I've noticed this much more over this Christmas period because LED lights flicker, the fairy lights, you get this awful flicker. So there's a rule that you should always use, which I believe is from a Chinese proverb, which says, he who uses 120 frames per second should use... No, but seriously, you should always double your frame rate to find your shutter speed, because if you use too high a shutter speed, you'll end up with just really weird movement. It'll look all robotic almost like. If you use too low, you just get a really horrible blur. The problem with this in low light is if you have your shutter speed at 240, it really does limit the amount of light that gets to your sensor, so you end up with a lot more noise. So if you're like me and you use the slow-mo instead of having a gimbal or anything like that for smooth images, I would always suggest taking a tripod or a monopod. I tend to only use a tripod at the moment. I am hopefully getting a monopod at some point. You can kind of fix the shakiness in post, but when it gets to a certain amount of shakiness, it just looks a bit crappy. One thing that I noticed after watching all of the vlog that I did do, which I had to scrap at the Hinterland Festival, is that the autofocus in low light can be a bit dodgy. Sometimes it's unsure of where my face is. So another budget-friendly tip that I would give is manual focus. Learn how to manual focus. It's free. All you need to do is practice. This way you can be absolutely sure by looking at the screen that what you need to be in shot is perfectly focused. And it's just another really handy skill to have. My friend who I film videos with, he has an old Canon 5D. And when we used to be filming weddings and I would be using the Nikon, which is just up there, had a hideous autofocus. Hideous. And his footage, without any sort of autofocus, he'd manually focus, he'd got that good. It was just pinpoint every single time in the lowest of light. And another part of this is just to take as much footage as you can. I rarely, at an event or at a wedding, take less than an hour's footage. Even if all I'm needing is 5 minutes worth of footage, it's better to have it than not. It's better to have an hour and a half and have the ball ache of trying to find which are the best clips and editing them down than thinking, damn, did I not get that clip? Because you can't just ring up the venue and say, we need to have that party again because I didn't get this clip, so sort it for me. So take as much footage as you can. Try and practice with the manual focus while you're doing it, because the more footage you take, the more practice you'll get doing that. So you'll end up being a better videographer for it. And it's free. Now it's coming up to Christmas, so there's going to be sales on, so I'm going to hopefully get a few things in those sales that are again budget friendly, like some lighting, monopod. So when I do, I'll do a video on all of these things that I've bought. Again, I'll be trying to make it as budget friendly because I know when it gets into full frame cameras you can be getting into some really expensive gear. But for me, I just want to keep it cheap and cheerful and build up my gear as I go along, like I did with all of my music gear. I started off with pretty dodgy equipment and then I built it up as I needed it, as I got better. So if you like this video, please hit the like button or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
For a sweet strong and wide, you're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I say stone on your love.